going, everybody? So we have a fun review today as we're talking Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. Now, I must admit, for a while there, I was kind of nervous how the franchise would navigate in this post-Disney-Fox merger, mainly because that last Apes trilogy of Rise, Dawn, and War is, in my opinion, one of the best modern trilogies. So how can you top something like that all these years later? Set several generations after Caesar's reign, a new tyrannical ape leader builds his empire, leading a young ape to go on a journey that will lead him to question everything he's ever been taught about the past and make choices that will define the future for apes and humans alike. Regardless of the many reservations I had going into Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, I genuinely was impressed with many aspects of the film. With how beloved that last trilogy was, I'm glad that this manages to pay respect to everything from Caesar's trilogy. The impact of Caesar's journey looms large over the entire film, managing to use it in such a way that springboards a magnificent, poignant new journey. The film is set up in such a way where you could go into this with no prior knowledge of the last trilogy, but I think if you have watched that trilogy, particularly War of the Planet of the Apes, I think you're going to have a much richer viewing experience with Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. With how it's executed, the choice to set this story hundreds of years after War of the Planet of the Apes is one that I love, because not only does it set it apart from the previous trilogy of Apes films, but it also gives us an insight on how much the world has changed since that time, getting to see the impact left generations later from Caesar, who by now within this world is kind of looked on as a legend. One of the biggest things that impressed me most in general about Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes is the story, framed through a truly riveting coming-of-age style lens wrapped around legacy at the heart of this journey, with a cast of new characters, with the focus centered around uncovering knowledge. What is the truth and what are lies, and how things, in this instance being Caesar's words, can be used and twisted in such ways where some of these characters use it to obtain power through corruption. Just such a fascinating, complex idea to explore within this universe. They're the kind of things that I love so much about the stories that we saw back in that previous Apes trilogy. In a similar vein, it rides that line, perfectly packing on the profound, heartfelt, and intimate sequences that only draw you in further, wanting to learn with these characters so much more. And on top of that, you have this amazing, sprawling adventure with breathtaking visuals. Growing up with that last trilogy of Apes films, I remember how surreal it was when they were teasing what the apes would look like in those films, how far technology has advanced, to the point where they looked like they were real. Yet still, in a film like this, Weta continues to amaze me, and how they continue to raise the bar for VFX in general. It's honestly astonishing how the various kinds of apes feel so real. They're able to convey such a vast range of emotions. Then there's just the overall spectacle of everything with these large-scale action set pieces. It's a shame, because I always thought it was such a crime that none of those last three Apes films won an Oscar for Best VFX. I absolutely feel that Kingdom is going to be nominated at the very least, but it's going to be tough. It's neck and neck visually with Dune Part 2 as far as the best VFX I've seen all year. There's just such a wide variety of gorgeous shots in this, even outside of the ape action. Part of that, I think, could be due to the fact, like Wes Ball recently talked about, is the fact that they shot a lot of this movie actually on location. Obviously, they still had the actors wearing the motion capture suits, and then they added in the apes later, but most of the stuff that you see is real. I know that's a very baffling thing to think about these days, where you're seeing real-life things, which has me even more excited that they're going to be releasing a version of the film to physical media where you're going to get to see the entire film with them in the motion capture suits, which is something I hope they also do for the previous trilogy, because I think that would be really amazing. Let's talk about this cast they assembled, though, for Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, because I think across the board they were all pretty fantastic, but there are some major standouts, to me at least. Firstly being Noah, who essentially is the new lead of this trilogy of films. For this being the start of this journey, I think he's a very worthy successor. Owen Teague brought so much heart to this character, and I'm really excited to see him carry the torch forward for the franchise with what we're given. Same goes for Freya Allen, who's playing May, the female lead of the film. Out of everything I've seen her in, especially stuff like The Witcher, I think this is her best performance I've ever seen her give. The story behind her character is an interesting one. She's a vastly more complex character than I had originally anticipated. Arguably, though, the greatest scene stealer of them all is Kevin Durand, who plays Proximus. Between this and Abigail, I mean, he's having such a fantastic run. To be honest, ever since they released that clip of him yelling, "What a wonderful day!" I've said it so many times and I've annoyed so many people around me. So I apologize if you've been hearing me say that in public every now and then for no reason. What a wonderful day! But yeah, Proximus as a character, he's really intriguing. Amongst the villains of these last couple Apes films, I think he is one of the best. I don't know if I'd say he's as good as Coda in Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. However, I found him to be a very compelling antagonist that I did want to learn more about, since he has quite a fascinating perception on things, which does include his hatred of humans, and how warped his perception is, and how that's kind of bleeded over into the teachings to all of these other apes and why they hunt humans in the first place. They probably wouldn't do it, but I would be so down if they had a sort of prequel side story film or show where we kind of just learn more about Proximus Caesar, how he rose up the ranks, and why he believes all of this stuff about humans. It would be a Disney Plus show that I would definitely watch. If there are ways that Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes does falter, though, it's kind of the same problem you see in a lot of first films that are trying to establish a trilogy, and it is asked to do a lot as far as establishing the world. This movie does a whole lot of world building. Because of that, and the way that we're uncovering things across this adventure, the pacing kind of does suffer a bit occasionally. So it's a little overly ambitious in that regard, but it's something you see in a lot of the first films of trilogies. Since we're getting everybody back up to speed with the Caesar lore, and establishing its new ideas into the mythos as well, some of those ideas are left a little bit undercooked by the end, but I also think that's kind of by design, because they want to flesh them out more in the sequels, because the ending, for sure, is setting up some more sequels along the way. All in all, though, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes is an amazing return for this franchise after 7 years. As a continuation, it pays respect to the legacy that came before it, while also using the last 3 films to weave a riveting, new, compelling tale that I think a lot of Planet of the Apes fans are going to have a good time with. I don't know if it's necessarily as good as the last 3 Planet of the Apes films, but I think it's up there. I don't know yet where I'd rank it as far as the rest of the franchise goes, but it definitely has me really excited for more Apes once again, if they're going to continue to have this level of quality or just get better and better in each installment, much like how they did with the last Apes trilogy. Essentially, if I were going to sum up my feelings towards watching Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, I would have to say... But now for my thoughts on Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, make sure you share your thoughts down below. Once you get a chance to check out the film, did you like the film? Did you not like the film? Are you excited for more Planet of the Apes in the future? Either way, make sure you share your thoughts down below, because part of the fun is that conversation with you guys in the comment section. Thank you guys, as always, checking out videos. I always do appreciate it. Make sure you like on the video and also subscribe to the channel so update reviews, reactions, unboxings, and more. For next time, I'll see you guys later.